Thank you for joining us today for an introduction to Garland DBS Canada and methods for procuring roofing projects through the Kinetic program. As I said, I'm Charbel Boulos, President of Garland Canada, and I'm pleased to be able to draw on my 31 years at Garland to walk you through a typical roofing and waterproofing procurement process and key highlights of working through this construction specialty through the use of the Kinetic Group purchasing option. We're extremely pleased to have been awarded this contract in 2020, and with 5 projects already delivered through this program, the feedback from the satisfied Kinetic members has been positive and is testament to the ease of usability and effectiveness of the contract. Before we dive into it and cover the following topics, I'd like to do a brief recap of the Kinetic program. As you may know, Kinetic was established in 2016, having partnered with numerous public sector procurement experts to develop the templates and processes used to ensure compliance with the Canadian Free Trade Agreement and the Canadian European Trade Agreement. All contracts are competitively bid, evaluated, and awarded using a compliant competitive solicitation process, including advertising on Bid & Go, Bonfire, and Mercs, and evaluated using Bonfire to ensure compatibility and compliance. All the background info is available on the Kinetic website and through the Kinetic team. So, Garland Canada is a full-service roofing and building envelope supplier with coverage throughout most of Canada. All of our employee owners live in the communities they serve and work closely with locally approved contractors to minimize risk and, where possible, to ensure funds raised locally are spent locally. Some of the areas of expertise that may be procured through the contract include air vapor and water barriers to help control the flow of moisture into and out of buildings, parking garages and plaza decks for pedestrian and vehicle traffic, roofing and waterproofing with a variety of surfacing options to provide reflectivity by use of different types of aggregate or coatings to protect and cover the underlying membrane, many of which have life expectancies in excess of 40 years. Green or vegetative roof systems, metal roofs, caulkings and sealants you typically see used around buildings, and wall panels. Our main drivers here at Garland in our decision-making is protecting the environment and ensuring sustainability. We believe the most sustainable solution is the longest lasting. If a roof lasts twice as long, then the disposal will be cut in half. And if we're able to reuse the insulation by ensuring it remains dry during its intended life, by regular inspections and preventive maintenance, then we could minimize the landfill by over 75%. The use of recycled materials, both post-consumer and post-industrial, helps to lessen the burden on the environment. UL, or Underwriters Laboratories, has independently tested our processes and has awarded us the coveted UL environmental designation for many of our products. It may be helpful to cover the main aspects involved in most construction projects before we jump into the Kinetic procurement methods. Before a project starts, there's usually a need, possibly due to leaks, which may require an assessment. All assessments have a visual component to determine the existing conditions and to prioritize the work. Sometimes the use of an infrared thermography is used to determine subsurface moisture and to help develop a scope of work, especially if sustainability and the reuse of insulation is a driving factor. After the assessment is completed, then a report is prepared, which may include CAD drawings and thermal images. Consultation with facilities management and procurement usually results with the prioritization of the work to be priced and site-specific information that is used in developing budgets and then specifications suitable for bidding. Once detailed specifications suitable for tendering have been generated, the project is published on websites. followed by an on-site meeting with bidders, a question and answer period, usually through email, and then the issuance of any addenda related to the project. Once the bids are submitted, a review is performed, usually resulting in an award, and then the process or construction proceeds. Through the Kinetic program, there are 2 delivery models, and they differ both in scope and in responsibility. The material-only model permits the member to purchase materials directly from the manufacturer with a transparent and discounted price. This way, the member is assured of a quality, durability, and performance standard. All other materials and the labor component are publicly bid. There are additional savings in addition to the material price savings, and they may include a lower markup on materials that are historically purchased by contractors and delivered as part of their contract. Option 2 is the turnkey delivery model. And to date, all of our projects have been through this preferred method by the member organizations, which include hospitals, municipalities, and water treatment plants. This method includes all reporting, specifications, engineering, installation, project management, and closeout documents, utilizing local labor when possible, and with the assurances of guaranteed maximum pricing and complete transparency. By purchasing the entire project through Kinetic, the process is simplified and the outcome is confidently delivered. The line item pricing and scope of work are tied into each other, as you'll see coming up. If local site-specific pricing is lower than the guaranteed maximum price, those savings are passed on to the customer or Kinetic member. All the information is always available for review by the member agency. And this transparency is evident at every stage of the project. All the value-added services are included free of charge. And because of our expertise being utilized early in the process, many of the issues that typically arise are covered up front. Lately, we've seen the public sector experiencing an increase in non-qualified bidders with little to no experience bidding projects in the open market. And most recently, there were 2 instances where a security company, like the ones that would bid on projects for condo corporations to provide security, have actually bid and been low on roofing projects, which they have absolutely no confidence in bidding. This has resulted in delays of award, excessive paperwork, and wasteful effort. By using the turnkey method, only qualified and experienced trades will bid the work. This lessens the workload for all involved parties. I'd like to spend a few minutes reviewing a case study of a recent project completed through this process. A detailed specification package is usually prepared after a visit to the site. The local contractors are invited to come out and measure and review the on-site conditions, ask any pertinent questions related to the project execution, and then pricing from the contractors is used as part of the proposal to the Kinetic member. And I apologize for how small this print's going to be. So just allow me to walk you through it here quickly. In this proposal, you're going to note that there's a scope of work, which is at a very high level, and line item pricing. And I'm just going to highlight it here. I'll go to the pen. This here is the scope of work, right to item number 16. And this basically covers all of the components related to the roofing, which is removing the existing, any inspection of the wood blocking or the decking, priming a deck if it's part of the scope of work, installation of multiple layers of insulation, crickets, tapered insulation, and then the installation of the roofing, installation of drains and all the accessories, new metal flashing and so on, cleanup of all the project debris and the equipment removal, and then the issuance of the membrane manufacturer's long-term labor and material warranty. So the scope of work is included in the proposal. Here, what you see is line item pricing, and this line item pricing is depicted in the standard contract with Kinetic. I'm just going to move this here over, and it also includes this area here as well. And when you add up all of the line item pricing, you come up with what we call the guaranteed maximum price, and in this case, it was $291,000. The locally sourced bids, there were 5 contractors that were invited, and I've just, to protect the innocent and the guilty, I've just labeled them contractors 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The lowest guaranteed lowest price based on local market competition was $279,000. Okay, versus the guaranteed maximum price of $291,000. And so the recommendation was made to award the work to the lowest local market price contractor. Based on the review and following the award of the work, a pre-construction meeting with the subcontractors is held. Once the project starts, it's inspected regularly with progress reports prepared and submitted directly to the client, the Kinetic member, and once the project is completed, closeout documents, including warranties and all pertinent documentation, is delivered. The following are timelines for 2 of these projects. What's important to note is the speed at which they are delivered. From the time the member signs on with the Kinetic program, and by the time the project start date, it's approximately 2 months on average. Of course, the complexity of the project and other factors will impact the schedule a little bit. So a typical project in the open marketplace, now you'd have the customer that works through a consultant or an architect that works with contractors. Contractors purchase from supply houses, and the supply houses purchase from the manufacturer. And the manufacturer ultimately provides the warranty to the customer, who is the end user. The Garland approach is a little bit different. Customers on top deals directly with the full service manufacturer, which is Garland. Garland prepares all the details, the engineering, the specifications, budgeting, and so on. Goes directly to the contractors to get the pricing. And the customer benefits from dealing with the responsibility, which is typically handled entirely by the manufacturer. In this case, it would be Garland. Being the full service manufacturer, we analyze the roofing problems, we design the solutions, manage the project, and coordinate the long-term preventive maintenance program. With Garland as your partner, there's no finger pointing whatsoever. We provide total accountability for our roofing solutions. In summary, Kinetic members can be assured of best pricing for materials, expedited project delivery, reduced administrative burden on all parties involved. The feedback we have received is the efficiency of this process has been excellent, and all with the benefit of guaranteed maximum pricing. Locally sourced materials and labor, transparency throughout the process, and the reduced risk ensures a successful result.
Great, thank you, Charbel. I'm going to turn my camera back on so everyone can see my face. And hopefully, there you are, Michelle, I see you.
Yes.
And please remember that all the participants are in listen-only mode, so please go ahead and type your questions into the chat box so that we can see them there.
Yes, thank you, Charbel. That was extremely informative. I know I've worked with your team on a number of those projects that have rolled through the Kinetic contract, and I will say it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and the entire Garland sales team. You know, the utmost professionalism, and I can really say that, you know, when our members ask very tough questions and are going through all of the due diligence process that, you know, procurement folks have to go through, your team has been extremely responsive, and we truly appreciate the customer service you provide the Kinetic members.
Thanks, and we appreciate working with them, actually. I think all the projects have been beneficial for all parties involved.
Mhm.
And I know
Yeah,
we have a
we've
number-
received a lot of very positive feedback, especially in the point where you mentioned the time. So, you know, a lot of things can be needed now versus, you know, in months from now. You know, there's repairs that do require things to be solved in a very expedient fashion, and leveraging the Kinetic GPO contract really allows them to get that work done immediately, which also mitigates the risk of other damage, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And one item that I didn't cover was that once the contract has been established, there is the opportunity to include additional work. Like you had just mentioned there, a number of items typically come up where they weren't thinking of them when the original roof project went out to tender. There may be a small isolated roof out someplace, or some leaks that have occurred from the time they have identified the need to the time the contractor's on site. And those are very easily included in the contract with very little effort on anybody's part. The other item that you had brought up that we had used on more than one occasion is that when there is a time constraint, let's say there's funds that are available that need to be used and there isn't a lot of time available, this is a very quick delivery method. What we have shown is in the previous slides that from the time they sign on to the time the roofer's on site is about 2 months. But we've had instances where they're on site within 3 weeks. So it can happen very quickly if there's leftover budgets that need to be spent.
Mm-hmm. No, that's wonderful. And Alexis, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are recording this to get out to the members
That's right.
in order to see the slides.
I hope so. I think it's recording itself. Yeah. And yeah, so we'll definitely share it with you guys afterwards. And you know, one of the things that, you know, I think is so wonderful about this contract is that it allows our customers to, you know, work with somebody who's local to their community for that installation piece. So that's one thing that, you know, I know Charbel mentioned a number of times, but I think is especially attractive, is that you can still, you know, do your project with full service manufacturer who's going to provide a warranty for both the materials and the labor, but work with somebody within your community if you so choose. So I think that's you know, such a benefit and really nice way that this contract functions for the Kinetic members.
Yes, so Charbel and Alexis, you know, maybe we can elaborate on that. So when the member sometimes has a pre-qualified list of people that they have used in the past, you can then work with them and their list. So not necessarily going out to folks that they may not know, but I think of healthcare, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of training and on-site requirements for people to be on site at a hospital. So you can then work with their pre-qualified list as well, and or build that list out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, in almost every instance where there's a pre-qualified list of contractors, or contractors, like you said, that may have the core certification that they're looking for, or site-specific safety training, they've always been included in the list. And we work very closely with facilities management at the Kinetic member organization to ensure that if they have preferred contractors, that they are absolutely invited to bid as locally sourced labor.
That's wonderful. I know I've heard a lot of feedback from our members regarding that, and that they appreciate that they get to use their lists and they can be involved in that process, and the fact that they have you to lean on and really be that, you know, one-stop project management for that full turnkey option is an actual real benefit. And one of the reasons why Kinetic wanted to go out for the contract in this way was so they had that, our members have that option of purchasing just the product or working with you for that full turnkey option.
Yeah, Michelle, the flip side to that is if a member has had to work with a contractor in the past that has proved to be less than reliable and less than dependable, this also gives them the opportunity to exclude those contractors that have proven to be problematic from actually pricing the work. And so this is a way to eliminate contractors that don't have the manpower or the resources or the insurance and liability, the equipment, the safety and health and safety training. That would also give them the opportunity to minimize the likelihood of having to deal with that. As an example, that one security company had the procurement process gone through the Kinetic turnkey delivery method. They were not a Kinetic member yet, but had they done that, they would have been able to ensure that a security company would not have been able to bid on the actual roof replacement project. And what that did is it got legal involved, procurement, facilities management. It went all the way up to the board, to the council, and all it did was delay the project. And when you've got a window of opportunity for roofing weather, the last thing that you want is to have a project delayed by 3 or 4 months because of a problematic bidder that never should have bid in the first place. And now instead of being able to utilize a cold process or a no smell roofing option, now you're going into the cold winter months and you get forced into using hot asphalt as an example. And so it can really mess up that procurement process. So again,
it's such a waste of resources too, from the procurement and legal standpoint. What a waste of their time, and that cost is real.
Absolutely.
I just want to say for all the Kinetic members who are watching today and those who are perhaps going to watch this later is the recording. If you have a roofing project coming up, you feel that the Kinetic roofing contract could be a benefit to you and your organization, by all means, you can reach out to myself, Michelle McCarthy, as your business development manager with Kinetic. We also have Shannon Dean out in the West, out of our Regina, Saskatchewan office, who can help as well. But we will put you in touch and introduce you to the Garland team and your local representation from the Garland team as well. Because Charbel, you cover all of Canada. Alexis, you are national, but we also put you in touch with the local representatives for your organization. So if you do have other questions outside of today and you want more information or to talk to the Garland team, you can reach out to myself, and I will ensure not only do you have these two wonderful folks we have today, but your local representation as well.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. And just to follow up on that, our local representatives would be happy to come out and consult with you about your project, offer you good, better, best options for the goals that you're trying to achieve, and provide you with some of that expertise that they possess right up front at no cost. So please just let us know if we can be helpful.
Wonderful. I'm not sure if there was any questions in the chat for us to answer, because I think you guys have done just a fantastic job of going over the information today.
I don't see any questions yet. So Charbel, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I'm just checking to see if there's any other questions here that we haven't answered here. Yeah, what I was going to say is just as a final follow-up is that because all the reps are locally based, they actually know the local labor very well. They know the climatic conditions, which has a lot to do with when and how you can get roofing done. And they have excellent relationships with the supply houses and so on. And so, having them live in the territories that they serve gives us that strategic advantage of understanding that local market, right down to the individual foreman on the different roofing crews and the labor. And so when you have an excellent relationship with the local contractors, it allows you to deliver a project with very little hiccups. Michelle, there were a number of questions related to the cost that I've just noticed here related to Kinetic, and I guess,
where do you see them, Charbel?
Yeah, I don't want
I
to
can
jump
touch on the Kinetic membership. So if you are not yet a member of Kinetic and you've joined us today, one, welcome. Two, the membership for Kinetic GPO is free. There is no volume commitment and it's not an exclusive agreement. So I can absolutely arrange a call with you, or if you have extra questions, my email is michelle@kineticgpo.ca. I'm more than happy to arrange a call or answer any questions that you might have. The membership is quite risk-free in that once you are a member of Kinetic, it allows you access to all of the contracts that we have to offer, but it does not tie you into any of the contracts until you are ready to do so. So it does give you the option to start working with our awarded suppliers on projects. And then if you feel it's a good fit and you like what you are seeing, you have that ability to then leverage that contract for your project. So the membership, again, is free with no volume commitment and not an exclusive agreement. That membership can actually be found on the Kinetic GPO website. Or again, if you give me a quick email to answer any questions, I can also get that over to you to fill out. Usually we can get that executed and back to you within 24 hours.
And there were two other questions here that I've just noticed.
I'm glad you noticed. I can barely see them, so hopefully you can read them.
How we would procure on our end. Do we deal directly with Garland? If I can answer that, you can certainly. I think the first step would be to register with Kinetic to become a member, and then from there, either Michelle or Shannon or any number of other individuals can assist you in putting you in contact with your local Garland representative, and we can handle it like that. Is there a component within the scope of work to be a consultant to work with a municipality? Absolutely. There are different line items for different services, including engineering services. I hope that answers those questions.
Yes, and now I was just able
Thank you, Charbel.
Pop this box out with some other questions that I can see. So maybe, Michelle, this is one for you to take. It says, can we get more details about the tender that was published? Where was it published? And can we get a copy of the tender?
Yes, so as a member of Kinetic GPO, we can get you all of the documents regarding the contract. If you are not yet a member of Kinetic GPO, we are still happy to share with you all of the RFSO documents that we use to go out to market, as they were public knowledge. So absolutely, we can get that over to you to review for full scope. Again, you can get that over to myself as an email ask, and I'd be happy to make sure that you have those documents to review. But when it comes to the pricing and scope in your specific project, that's when we always introduce you to the Garland team so that they can actually start working with you for your specific requirements. So the nice thing about how we've gone to market, again, is because it includes not only all of the products, but all of the services that can be provided through that full turnkey option, we have you work directly with the awarded supplier so that you can go over your specific requirements. But absolutely, we can get you the RFSO documents in order to review that for full scope.
Okay, and I see another one here. Charbel, did we do this? Did we answer this question yet? Can we discuss how we would procure on our end? We deal directly with Garland, or do we enter an agreement with the Kinetic membership? We didn't answer this one yet, did we, guys?
So I can take that one. So the first thing, in order to actually leverage the contract, you do have to first become a member of Kinetic GPO. So you do not need to be a member in order to reach out to the Garland team and start talking about your project. You know, you can do that at any time, but to actually leverage and procure through the Kinetic Garland contract, you would need to first become a member of Kinetic GPO. Once you are a member of Kinetic, Garland does have a small enrollment form. It's just a one-page, almost like a customer setup document that you would fill out for Charbel and his team, and then you would again proceed with the actual procurement. Charbel and his team would quote you with the Kinetic specific pricing and quote number, and that you would then reflect in your purchase order as well. Is that correct, Charbel, your internal process? I'm getting to know it quite well, but let me know if I missed it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that we've answered that question. So again, sign up with Kinetic. Once you sign up with Kinetic, they would there's a form, they put you in touch with the supplier. the supplier that had competitively bid that particular contract. And then I guess where we need to ensure everybody understands, Michelle, is that Kinetic is actually competitively bid this nationwide. Okay, and so in order for this to be legal, right, for the member to use the contract, they couldn't go directly to a supplier because it was not bid just with the supplier, it was bid through Kinetic. Is that correct?
Right. So the reason why the members can work with you on this roofing contract is because Kinetic has already gone out to market for roofing. So we've gone through that entire competitive solicitation process. We advertise in 4 places: Merck's, Bindigo, Bonfire, and Sask Tenders. And then we receive all of the bids in for that particular tender or bid, and our evaluation team then goes through all the steps necessary in order to do the evaluation, do the award, do any debriefing with suppliers who were not awarded the contract. We then go through the negotiation of the master agreement with the awarded suppliers, and then that agreement is then live. So if you are a member of Kinetic GPO, you also get an announcement letting you know of the new awarded contract, and all of that information is actually public on the Kinetic GPO website as well. So all of our contracting policies, procedures, templates are public knowledge under the contract process tab of the Kinetic GPO website. And most people like the fact that we actually utilize Paul Emanuele and his law office here in Canada to make sure that we are compliant to the national trade agreements and all the regional agreements right across the country.
Very good.
Great. So Charbel, I see just one last question that I don't think we've addressed. Do you have a component within your scope of award to be a consultant to work with a municipality to build their own RFT? Do you want to answer that one, or would you like me to?
Yeah, we do have it. I thought that I did answer it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was struggling to find the questions for a while there. So if you already answered it, then we can skip it.
It's okay. There are line item prices there for engineering services and so on to prepare specifications and so on. And so yes, yeah.
Okay, great, good. Glad we got there. Okay, so I think we've addressed all of the questions that I can see now. It says the last one here that I see is, will the webinar slide deck be available? And I think we mentioned that Kinetic will be able to share this recording. And if you would like to have the actual presentation that we shared today, feel free to email me or Charbel, and we'll be happy to share that with you.
And where can you see the contact info for being on the webinar today? I guess just from the registration, or could you actually give us the slide deck? We can always send it out with the video as well.
Sure. We'll follow up with you on that.
That's wonderful.
Okay, I think we have it all covered here.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Glad we found these questions. Sorry, this is our first time on this platform, so I'm glad we didn't skip all of that. Thank you so much for your time, Michelle. Thank you, everybody who attended, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. And again, thank you very much, Alexis, Charbel, for doing this on behalf of our members and prospects today.
Of course, it was a pleasure. All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye for now.